You live from a Walmart parking lot and a men's restroom. This is Thicc Inc.
And we are live here with your host, Tristan Kilgannon, and ESPN featured athlete, Isaiah Ashley. This week, we're bringing to you our week in review for week 3 of the NFL season. We appreciate all the support. Like the video, subscribe, leave a comment down below what you thought of games that went on in week 3. And today, we're going to start out with the Chiefs-Ravens game. Chiefs dominated the first half. Ravens made it close in the fourth quarter, and the game wound up being 33-28.
Hey, look, a running back. But no, this game wasn't exactly a great look for Lamar Miller. Due to the fact that he only had a 51% completion percentage, that's horrible. Missed the better Brown, Hollywood Brown deep a whole bunch. Could have stood to have some of those touchdowns there. But to be fair, this isn't really all his fault. He had to throw the ball 43 times. If your name's not Patrick Mahomes and you're a young quarterback, you should not be throwing the ball 40-plus times. That's all on Harbaugh. Now, regardless of the fact, though, Miller was out of his comfort zone, and it showed. I don't think that the Ravens can keep playing like this. They're going to have to get him down to 20 or so attempts per game. If you get any higher than that, you're going to have risk of him being incredibly inaccurate come up.
I completely agree with you. I couldn't have said it better myself, and it's not often that happens with us.
Well, I'm right a lot.
Like you said, I think with Lamar Jackson and winning football games, I think it's a lot like Cam Newton's situation when Cam Newton was actually healthy and could play every week. But Cam Newton, whenever he throws more than 27 passes, they lose over 50% of their games. So I think they definitely need to get Lamar Jackson's throws down probably around to 25, 27, around there. He can't be throwing 43 passes a game. And everyone was hyping up his jukes on the game, and I personally didn't get to watch it because I was working. I thought my impression from my notifications was that he was tearing it up. And then I look at the stat sheet and I watch a recap, and I'm like, he didn't tear it up. He was actually horrible. Or not horrible. He was horrible throwing.
His touchdown was very, very impressive.
Yeah, but then again, he was running.
I know. I'm saying, though, like as just an athlete, as the running back he might be, that's very impressive.
I think this is a matchup we're going to see in the postseason, definitely. The Ravens division has looked a lot weaker than I expected it. We'll get to the Browns later, but the Steelers have been absolutely awful even when Big Ben was playing. So I think they're in perfect shape to win their division right now. I think this is a matchup we'll see later in the year. And on top of it, the Chiefs tore up the Ravens, which is impressive because the Ravens are one of the best defense, but the Ravens also didn't have their best corner in Jimmy Smith playing. So I think that had a big factor in the game also.
Well, maybe if they'd bite the bull and shade for Jalen Ramsey, that'd help him out. But going to the Chiefs briefly, Patrick Mahomes is the second coming of Peyton Manning, only this time he can move a little bit and doesn't throw as many picks. He looks amazing. You put that in a Reed system, you're going to have explosive games like this one every single week. And as to seeing this in the playoffs, I don't think we will. I think one of these teams is going to run into New England before that happens, and it's not going to go well for them.
I don't know about that. We'll have to see. With the Chiefs, can you believe that the Pro Football Focus has Patrick Mahomes ranked as the 6th best quarterback in the NFL so far through 3 games?
Well,
that is a travesty to me.
It's a bold claim to be sure. I don't know how I feel about it, except I do know it's a terrible take. But hey, it's going to happen. Your Pro Football Focus. What do you expect?
It happens when your analytics don't always work out.
Speaking of garbage analytics, the New York Football Giants actually won a game.
The Giants won a football game. As many of our viewers may know, all to 15 to 20 of you, the Giants are my favorite team, and I missed the first half due to working. But I got back to my dorm. I turned on while I was walking back. I turned on the game, and first thing that happens when I turn on the game, I don't remember the exact order, but it was basically back to back. Saquon gets hurt, and Daniel Jones fumbles, and I was just like, not fucking again. And then I think the Bucs scored like 10 or 14 points at the end of the second quarter.
I was like,
I was like, this game's going to fucking suck again. But I stuck with it. I continued watching the game. And then the second half started, and the throw to, Evan Ingram was wide open. In that throw, I think Evan Ingram, the consistent tight ends, is the most besides Travis Kelce right now in the NFL. He's
Zach
a fucking
Ertz,
stud. Zach Ertz, the Eagles have been struggling all over the place, and he's easily their best target. So, and Daniel Jones was fucking fantastic this game. The 56-yard throw he made to Darius Slayton was a thing of beauty. He evaded the rush, stepped up right in his face, threw off his back foot, and threw a laser 56 yards down the field. That is something, as much as I love Eli Manning, as much as he's my favorite Giant all time, he cannot make that throw in the last 3 years of his career ever. And then Daniel Jones, on top of throwing it all over the field, he has two of the fastest speeds reached by a quarterback running the football on both his touchdown runs. So this gave me a lot of hope for the Giants' future. Now,
and then you
not
realized
this season,
that Saquon Barkley was not going to play for the next 4 day weeks.
By future, well, it's down to 4 to 6, but I have another thoughts. You can't really shorten it to 6. That's semantics. But by future, I mean after this season, because the defense was still fucking garbage. And the O-line, everyone besides Kevin Zeitler was just letting the defensive line get to Daniel Jones right away, basically. There was one play where Shaq Barrett, the guy who had 4 sacks, the other defensive end who ended the game with 1 sack.
We get it. The Bucs defensive line is very good. If I can get a word in edgewise here, you realize that Daniel Jones got outplayed by Jameis Winston, right?
Yeah, because his defense is so bad.
And the Bucs defense is good.
The Bucs defense is better than the Giants.
The Bucs defense has a defensive line and about the same level in the secondary. Evan Ingram running wide open, people being open downfield, not a great look. Factor in the fact that Daniel Jones had 2 fumbles, could have cost him. I'm not fully sold on him being the next rah-rah quarterback. There are some people, my co-host may think this, although he will never say it on air to me, that Daniel Jones will be the Rookie of the Year. That will not happen.
Who will be the – Oh, I said it on air.
I said on air.
They're Super Bowl predictions.
You're wrong, and you should feel bad about it.
Who knows? You may even see Daniel Jones come on the field and be Rookie of the Year. The Giants have something special coming. Stay tuned.
It's not going to be the Rookie of the Year. He got faced up against a garbage tier defense, which you and I agreed that team's going to have about 3 or 4 wins this year. Not a particularly good team.
They got 1. They won a game they weren't supposed to win. So maybe they'll get to 4.
And I'll start this.
And the win will look more impressive.
The reason they weren't supposed to win this, a fellow by the name of Gay, ironically, took the Buccaneers' chances of winning and bent them over and plowed them, because that is a very easy field goal to make. That being said, to our pal Arians, what is wrong with you? Why are you taking a delay of game penalty in that situation? It's right down the middle of the field. The distance doesn't matter at that point. Oh, and if that kick is 5 yards closer, it's in.
That exactly. It barely went left, and it was curling left.
If he wasn't the proven
coach. So if he was 5 yards closer, it goes right in.
If he wasn't the proven coach, I'd say he should get fired after that. That's horrible. That's really bad.
And the funny thing about it is that Gay said, I was super confident going on the field. I felt really good about it. Clearly he wasn't, because he fucking shanked it. If you're feeling really good about that kick.
Till he got backed up 5 yards. But I'm going to end with saying this because we're about to start rambling again. You can add on to it all you want. The Giants shouldn't have won that football game. Their defense let them down. Daniel Jones had his moments, but at the same time, it was just not really a great game defensively.
Just with them, like you saying that they shouldn't have won that game, I was sitting there and I was thinking that my exact thought was, if this is a turning point for the Giants and if Daniel Jones is actually the answer, we're going to see some fucking dumb shit happen. The Bucs kicker is going to miss his field goal. And then what do you know? He fucking misses the field goal. And the next morning I'm getting noise complaints from my RA.
For shame.
For how much I celebrated.
Were you popping bottles?
No, I was just running around my room like a dumbass.
Well, fortunately for the Giants, and we need to move on to our next topic, they have another bye week next week in the Redskins. A hotly contested game between 2 basement dwellers, to be sure.
Giants are going to start the season 2-2.
Don't know about that one. But moving on to the Colts and Falcons, Colts win, Falcons weep 27-24. And we're getting another episode of the oh no, we suck again. The Atlanta Falcons having half their defense wind up on carts going off the field. Only this time it's starting to happen 3 games into the season. Usually gets to around week 7, week 8 before they start dropping like flies, but they're ahead of schedule. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I think me and you both at the beginning of the season thought Jacoby Brissett is going to be a very solid starting quarterback in this league, and he proved it in this game. Of course, he's not going to be Andrew Luck, at least at this point in his career, and he completed his first 16 passes. He's an NC State product out there slinging the ball around, but it fucking sucks. T.Y. Hilton is now dealing with a quad injury. He's been Brissett's biggest
Because he's
target.
on your
I
fantasy
think
team.
that is not why. I mean, he had 8 catches before he left the game. I think he left the game around the third quarter. And Marlon Mack, the guy Isaiah said did not know anything about, once again had a very solid game. 74 yards on the ground, 1 touchdown, 2 catches for 14 yards.
I could run for 4 yards to carry on that Atlanta defense, but that's neither here nor there. I will say this, Jacoby Brissett's proven me right yet again. He is going to be the Steve Young to Andrew Luck's Montana. I think, although I may be wrong in that, I think Brissett has a chance to be better than Luck. Because this is very...
You think he's a chance to be better?
This is very early in Luck's or Brissett's career. He's only had about 15, 20 starts as a player. He's playing incredibly well. He's not making rookie mistakes. He's not acting like a young quarterback. He's standing behind that O-line. He's not throwing bad picks. And he's delivering the ball right on time.
I mean, then again, like you said, it's the same thing. I mean, the Falcons are better than the Bucs for the Daniel Jones discussion, but just transitioning to the Bucs real quick. The Bucs lost one of the best players on their defense and best players in the secondary, Keanu O'Neal, to a season-ending injury. And at this point, the Falcons have been on continuous downward slope since their Super Bowl
Falcons?
season.
You just said the Bucs lost Keanu O'Neal.
I meant Falcons. Everyone, our viewers know what I'm talking about.
The NFC South kind of blends together now that Drew Brees is hurt. Anyway, Falcons suck. We'll have to keep waiting and watching the Colts, see if they make any noise in the postseason. Injuries are going to be the death of both of these teams, though, if they keep happening, because they can afford to deal with T.Y. being gone. But if they lose Mack or if they lose Brissett, or even if they lose Quentin Nelson, the Colts will be in trouble.
Moving on to our next game for the week, we have the Rams versus Browns. The Rams won the game 20-13. It was a largely defensive game, in my opinion. But this game, for me, the biggest takeaway is for the Browns. Freddie Kitchens was saying after the game that the media should blame him and they shouldn't blame the players, and that is 100% accurate. The Browns look so discombobulated on the field. They're calling deep go routes when they can't, or deep posts, deep comeback routes when they can't defensive line for more than a second and a half. And he's making these play calls, and they're not running the ball when Nick Chubb has 23 carries for 96 yards. He is, I don't know what that, I think that's around 4.5 yards a carry. I don't know.
It's good.
I'm too stupid to do
also,
the math.
He's got 23
it is
carries,
good.
So he's clearly running the ball some.
Yeah, but he didn't run it enough. Like, they were getting 4-5 yards almost every time he ran the ball. And for Baker's just, like, it's all in the coaching, in my opinion. And him looking worse than he did last season is surprising to me because he looked better with Kitchens when Kitchens became the guy calling all the shots.
I think you're wrong on some stuff, but the play calling is an issue. People are obviously going to rag on calling a halfback draw on 4th and 9. That's been getting torn apart in the media. But having Baker, with how weak that offensive line is, and being 6'0", only an inch taller than you, expected to stand in the pocket and deliver.
I am
deep,
6 foot
expected
tall.
to stand in the pocket and deliver deep is unrealistic. And defenses can game plan around the fact that yes, he's going to roll out right once his pocket starts collapsing, particularly at weak left tackle spots.
And they traded their best pass blocking offensive lineman to the Giants, who ironically was the only one pass blocking for the Giants this past Sunday.
Can we stop talking about the Giants, please?
Well, they traded away Zeitler.
Also, Clay Matthews had 2 sacks. We're about 5 years later than that should be happening. That's a little bit odd.
I know, and the guy the Browns got from the Giants, Olivier Vernon, he's not doing much pass rushing. He has no sacks through 3 games. So that looks like it was a questionable decision for the Browns. I'm happy as a Giants fan, but it wasn't a good decision for them.
As someone who does not particularly like the organization, I think the Rams switching teams a little bit look incredibly shaky. They do not look good by any stretch of the imagination. Think about the teams they've beaten. They've beat the Panthers when Cam Newton has been broken and they've had nothing but Christian McCaffrey. They've beaten the Saints when Drew Brees only threw the ball 5 times before he got hurt. And finally, they beat this team, a Browns team which is clearly discombobulated and is clearly having its issues. It's not a great look. They haven't really blown anyone out besides the injured Saints, but hey, if you're letting teams like the Panthers keep you close and the Browns keep you close, I don't think you're going to be a good team.
I mean, I tend to agree. I think, what's his face? Coach's name?
Sean McVay.
I think Sean McVay, he's clearly limiting Todd Gurley's touches because I feel like he thinks they're going to make the playoffs no matter what, and he doesn't want Todd Gurley to get all that run, or Todd Gurley's truly still recovering. I have no clue.
Well, they're going to make the playoffs because they've got a Charmin Ultra Soft schedule coming up.
That's true. But like the game, I think the Browns looked like they even had more talent. They're just so discombobulated and so disorganized. They lead the league in penalties.
Let the record show that is the 3rd time my co-host has used discombobulated in this segment.
Discombobulated. It's a great word.
But
you use it too.
The Brownies look awful. The Rams look shaky. I don't think either of these teams are going to be as good as we projected them being, regardless of record at the end of the year. Finally, concluding our discussion of the day, we have the greatest game of the day, in my opinion. The Buffalo Bills beating the Cincinnati Bengals. And Josh Allen, proving that he has ice and blue cheese in his veins, led the Bills on a comeback where he drove the ball downfield, put the ball right on the dot, hit players like living legend Josh Brown, Cole Beasley. Saw a little bit of work from Dawson Knox. And finally, we saw the eternal legend Frank Gore take it up the middle for a touchdown. He had a phenomenal day, threat on both the air and on the ground, and just really showing why he's the best young quarterback from that draft class.
Josh Allen is a fucking garbage tier quarterback. In this game and the start to his season is exactly showing it. And he is Blake Bortles with 20 million times the coaching that Blake Bortles has. He had 4 turnovers in week 1, beat a sorry Giants defense, and without Daniel Jones starting on offense. And now he beat the beige water pistol. In this game, he was 23 for 36, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He had 9 carries, and on 9 of those carries, he fumbled the ball. So I think that his deficiencies, he did not lose the ball, but he still fumbled twice. And his deficiencies are being masked by a phenomenal coaching staff, putting him in positions to win. They're not asking him to make ridiculous throws and lead the team. They're asking him to make simple throws. I
firmly disagree with you.
And when it comes down to playing a better team, he's going to fall apart. He fucking had 4 turnovers against the Jets, and look what the Jets are now. So
I mean, that was with Sam Darnold, who didn't have mono yet, but you're absolutely wrong. You clearly didn't watch your film. He had some beautiful throws in that last drive, leading his men perfectly downfield in man coverage, just putting it where no one else but his man could catch it. And
his man. Take him on a date, too?
Might have. Oh, no. But the Bills are 3-0. They're by far the best team in New York. I don't think that's even questionable at this point. And they'll face a true
because of the coaching
in the New England Patriots next week, who, if they can sneak past the Patriots or even keep it close, oh, man. Bills Mafia will be elated. As for the Bengals, let's just hope your tanking gets you a high pick in one of the next 2 drafts so you can get a quarterback and ship off the Red Ryder BB gun so he stops shooting you in the eye.
I mean, don't unset on the game. We can't have the performance we had in the first half and expect to win. He's just stating the fucking obvious at this point. But the thing I think that's good for the Bucs is that they have their coach, Zach Taylor, is actually playing young guys. He's playing rookies. If you don't know, you might know. Marvin Lewis never started rookies for some reason. I think that's a big problem when they had with developing talent, and a reason Marvin Lewis always was. He never went anywhere in the playoffs. So I think they're going somewhere. I mean, they made the playoffs a few times, a couple 10-win seasons. But I think Zach Taylor is going to be a big part of this franchise's future. I don't think they should fire him if the Bucs continue to lose because they just don't have the roster yet. See, I keep saying the wrong team. They both start with a B. Bengals, Bucs, Bills. They're none of them are winning any playoff games this year. So.
Well, the Bengals are 3-0. I don't know who's worse between them and the Steelers. Garbage teams up there in the middle.
They're 0-3.
Yeah, like I said, 0-3. Exactly like I said it. But in summation, Josh Allen's the second coming of Cam Newton, and the Bengals are going to have some woes ahead of them.
And Daniel Jones is a future Hall of Famer.
I believe you mean Josh Allen. I see you get them confused. Both from New York, both athletic. But... All right.
You want to talk about Gardner Minshew at all?
Gardner Minshew, in my opinion, has the best mustache in the league. He has a few endorsement deals from certain adult film. I think that is a great sign.
Does he actually have endorsements?
He has a $1 million offer on the table.
From who?
I am not familiar with the website. I do not partake in their use. I just know he should be undefeated as a starter. He should have beat the Texans, but garbage play calling decided to hand the ball off up the middle. For the 2-point conversion, that's neither here nor there. I think we've run out of.
He may.
Good.
Sorry. He may save your prediction of the
Jaguars.
What the Jaguars?
They don't
Jaguars.
start with a B.
Being so many B's go. He may save your prediction of the Jaguars doing good this season. He has 5 touchdowns, only 1 interception through 3 games, and his quarterback rating has been above a 97. His lowest quarterback rating was against the Texans with a 97. So I think he may save your prediction.
My prediction was safe to begin with. I knew exactly what was going to happen. The world wasn't ready for me to drop the knowledge bomb with the Minshew era on them, but it's all right. No worry.
Okay, whatever. So thank you all for tuning in this week. Appreciate you for watching. Like the video. Comment down below what you think about Daniel Jones. Comment down below what you think about Lamar Jackson's development. Pat Mahomes as an MVP candidate. Comment whatever you want to. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.